Hi, today we're gonna start a new couple of videos for creating an application MVC5 with Visual Studio in React. So it's just gonna have two parts. The first part is going to be creating the MVC, creating a database, putting some data in it and making sure that everything works. And then the second part is how to install React and how to create an application, a report that we can filter. All right, so here we go. We're gonna create a new project on Visual Studio. And this is going to be a web application. All right, we're gonna call it React. Let's just call it React MVC. That's right. Just put it on my Dropbox. Alright, so it's gonna be MVC, and it's gonna individual user and account. That should be fine. Let's click OK. Alright, so we have the application here, the references, and everything else. So we're gonna go on the models and create real quick a class that's going to be our model, and we're gonna call the class event. Why not? So our class event real quick is gonna have, to save some time, I created a help file. Hopefully, so class event is gonna have the following fields: event ID, description, program, day start, look at this, a daytime, date ends. So that one we're gonna find out, show potential fixes, and data annotations is missing. We just wanna remove what we don't need here. Good. Okay, so now we have the class, and now that we have the class, we're gonna create a controller, and we're gonna add a controller with views. We're gonna be based on that events controller, asynchronous, and data context, that application DB context. Very good. Error. Okay, so now that we have built the solution, we are gonna go and try to add that controller again. So add controller. We're gonna get the views because we want to put values in it, and we're gonna call this is gonna be part of the events, data content, the application is fine, asynchronous, and add. All right, so we're gonna let it do its thing, adding the views, adding the edits. Good. All right, so right now what is pending is we're gonna have to create the connection string so it can connect to our database. Pretty straightforward. Default connection, we're gonna put here our local database, local host. We want to change this type of connection. We're gonna connect directly into our database. So okay, so I'm gonna come here to my default connection file. I'm gonna grab that connection string. I'm gonna just change that over here. So what this is telling me is I'm gonna connect using a default connection to my SQL Server local database. The database is gonna be called event app.db. I don't want that, so I want to call events database. Trust the connection, definitely for testing purposes. System data SQL Server. All right, now I have to make sure that I'm gonna enable migrations. So in order to enable migrations, we're gonna go and run these few items here. We're gonna enable migrations. I want it to be automatic, so I don't have to worry about it. Let's run that. That normally takes a little time. Do and say we're gonna update database. Alright, and that should be it to create the database. in our system is gonna create this table that we just specify here. So why don't we go and check? Once it's ready, let's refresh this database and let's see if my events MVC database events DB is right there, and with my table events. The other ones are added automatically by the system, so don't worry about them. Good. And the fields, columns, yep, everything that I want is there. Excellent. I'm gonna let you rest now. So having said that, now we can go here on the controller, events controller, and we can run this and see what pops up. All right. And here we have the application. Now let's go and let's remember the name of my controller, events. So we're gonna type it here, events, and see what it shows up. Luckily, I'm waiting for a list of events, but we have not added anything to the database yet. So here's my screen. I'm gonna add a new event. Let's say May event, Mother's Day. Starts in May. Sorry, May. Ends in May. Good. We're gonna create that one. Let's do another June event. And it's gonna call Father's Day. Stars 5, sorry, Father's is in June, and 2018. Alright, so now I have 2 events. Alright, so now we know that this MVC application works, and we can create, and we have a list, and we're gonna add another one to the May event. May event 2. The program, we're gonna call it Mother's Day 2, and this is a special celebration on the 15th of 2018, only for 1 day. Create. Okay, so we have a couple of events in May and 1 in June. All right, now we wanna have this information available for our React application. So what we're going to create right now is we're gonna create a functionality to show all this information on a JSON file that is needed in order to show that information on React later on. So how do we do that? We're gonna create a new controller, empty one this time, because I want just to show information. Reports controller, that's it, and it comes here, my reports controller. So my report controller is gonna have a view, so I'm gonna create that real quick. Add view, and I just wanna have that as an empty one. All right, as an empty view. Okay, so here on my view, on my index view, I'm just gonna call it report. This is where I wanna have my report. All right, so how do we get there? Step by step. Let's go to the controller, and we're gonna create the JSON application, the JSON method. So I'm gonna go to my cheat sheet, and I have it right here, so we don't have to think a lot and do things faster. So here I'm gonna go to my DB configuration, DB is the connection with the database, gonna go to the table events and get in the list, and this is gonna it's gonna send back my data that is coming from the events, and it's gonna allow to be sent via JSON, okay, using the get method. Now we're missing this one, and that's because we don't have the application connection. So, and we're gonna call it like application. Let's see if I remember correctly. It's application DB context. There you go. Let's see. DB equals new application DB context. Boom. And this is show potential fixes using React models. Very well. That should be it. And we're gonna go and we're gonna organize and remove sort. Let's see what we have so far. So right now we connected to the database using this reports controller, and we're expecting to get the information from the database, if we don't remember, this information on a JSON format. Okay, with all these simple steps we should have accomplished that. So here we go, let's test it. I'm gonna go to my browser. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna cancel this, and I'm gonna build the application, and I'm gonna run it from my, let's run it from my events. Let's see. So alright, so here is the information that I showed you guys before. Now if I go to my reports controller, what does it show? Oh, it's just the index, but I want to get the JSON results, so get events. Let's see what it does. Look at that. It's May event, Mother Day, the dates, then we have the other event that we have here is the June event, and then the May event number 2. So we accomplished what we needed. Now the next video is going to be talking about installing React on the application and also making it work. We're going to make a nice table that works, a nice table that we are going to be able to filter by event and by program. All right, see you later.